Welcome to the Microsoft 365 Empower Platform Community Call featuring Microsoft speakers. Today is May 23rd, 2023. We are excited for today. My name is David Warner. I'm a Community Program Manager with Microsoft. I am subbing for Vesta today as he is traveling the globe, sharing and spreading the good news of community with everyone over at European Collaboration Summit. So we are excited to hear what he brings back, the tales of the amazing and the community. Our agenda for today is the latest updates and news on Microsoft 365 platform. We're going to talk a little bit about some blogs and some other initiatives, as well as a group picture time. Everybody loves the group picture time, so get those hairdos ready. I already got mine done. Just only took a second, actually, shockingly. And then we're going to have four amazing presenters on three topics today. DC and Hanbing are going to cover updates to the Microsoft Graph Beta API for SharePoint Pages. And then Diksha is going to cover multi-geo support for site discovery with Microsoft Graph. Get those giraffe costumes out. And then Sheena is going to cover reaching millions of mobile users by extending your Teams app to Microsoft 365 app on Android and iOS. We are a mobile human collection of people now, so we need it everywhere. So we look forward to seeing all of those. First, let's talk about some resources that are available to each and every one of you in the community. We have a number of community videos that you can subscribe to today. We have a LinkedIn group for discussions and updates that you can join today. We've got open source initiatives and projects, things like PNP.js and CLI for Microsoft 365 that cover a broad range of the features and functionalities of the technology that we all love. So take a look at that. And of course, did I mention samples? I didn't, but I am. We got tons of samples, a cornucopia of samples, if you will, covering Teams, SPFX, web parts, extensions, ACEs, Power Platform samples, list formatting samples, script samples, which include PowerShell scripts, which is going to make Todd Clint smile. There we go. He smiled. And so we are super excited about all these collections of resources that are available to you. Now, do you need to remember all of these URLs? Not at all. All you need to do is remember one URL, aka.ms/community/home. So you are on a community call now, just in case you weren't sure. This is the weekly Microsoft 365 Empower Platform Microsoft Speakers community call. You're always going to see Microsoft program managers, project managers, and all those that are doing the amazing work to build the technology that we love. Definitely check this one out. You are, because you're here, but add it to your calendar. And you can do that at ak.ms/community/ms-speakers-call-invite. Rolls off the tongue. Now, we also have our Power Platform. This is a monthly call. It happens the third Wednesday of every month. We've got our two Microsoft Identity and Office add-ins, and then our sibling calls, which happen on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Those are bi-weekly, so they flip-flop with one another. Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Community, which is this week, and Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework, which is next week, and then they flip-flop. You can get access to all the invites for these by going to aka.ms/community/calls. You can also subscribe to the meetup. We have a meetup available for you to kind of see what those agendas are. It makes it very easy to see what those agendas are as they're published out the week before. So you can make plans to make sure you join if you see a session or a topic that really is resonating with you. Now, you may be wondering, how do I present? Can I present? I want to share what amazing stuff I've done that I'm passionate about. We absolutely want you to do that. And we've made it easy. So you can request to present on any of our community calls that are available to the community, which is those Thursday calls and that Power Platform Wednesday call. Those are available for you to present on. All you need to do is go fill out this form, aka.ms/community/request/demo. Make sure you get that information in soon. Everybody wants to present, and we want you to present. So we're starting to backlog up into June and July and August. So don't hesitate, and don't feel like you have to be showing how an app cures cancer or something like that. It can be anything that you're passionate about. It could be a tip or a technique or a way you're using a new feature. Definitely don't hesitate to share that with the community. You may think it's common knowledge. I promise you someone will benefit by learning from what you've done. So definitely don't hesitate to submit. Now, you can also get started with Microsoft 365 Dev by using some of these assets. We've got a free developer tenant, which auto-renews as long as you do some degree of development. So that's great. That means you don't have to reset every year. It won't expire on you, so you can get all your samples in there and use them and learn and how to use it. It comes with multiple users, which is fantastic, so you can simulate a real-life environment. Definitely take advantage of it. There is no cost to that at all, as well as the Learn modules. There is currently 73 Learn modules available for you, so definitely use those to learn along with your free developer tenant. Now, if you're wanting to kind of see what the rest of the community is also doing, we've got some Microsoft 365 and Power Platform shows available to you. The first is the weekly show by Vesa and Waldick, PNP Weekly. This is available in not only a video form, but also a podcast. So definitely check those out. We also have the new biweekly call from Caruana and Heather, Mondays at Microsoft, where they cover Microsoft community. Hugo and myself do Power Platform Connections, where we interview members of the community and also showcase some of the amazing work that you're doing, blogs and articles and videos. And then, of course, Paul Schaeflin and Jeremy Thake cover the Microsoft 365 Developer Podcast. So definitely take a look and get into all those. You can subscribe. There's playlists and podcasts and all of the above. So definitely take advantage. It's a great way to get to know the community. Now, I'd mentioned samples, and you may be thinking, I could use a couple samples. How about 1,570 plus samples? We've got so many samples for you to use. They are fantastic to use to learn. Now, these are samples that are available for free. They're open source. What that means is that there's no cost to you to use them, and you can also use them as a starter. You could use them as something you could build onto, so you can contribute to them through GitHub, and if that's a little scary, Hugo's got something for you here in a moment. But we welcome you to not only use them, but contribute back to them. So definitely take advantage. They will bubble up to the adoption.microsoft.com full site, and there's a really nice way you can see Waldick's profile there is showcased, and it kind of showcases all the work that you're doing. So it's a great way to show the work that you're doing in the community. Now, if GitHub and submitting samples might be a little foreign to you or new, Hugo, what do we got that we're working to improve upon?
Well, we've got guidance for you that's available. Again, we understand how scary it can be to do your first pull request in GitHub, all these terms like pull and push and fork and blame and things like that. Don't worry, we've gone through this before. We also were scared about using GitHub, and we created Sharing is Caring as a way to share with you how to get started without the fear. So we'll actually do your first pull request together. We'll do that in small groups. It's never recorded. It's a safe space, so you can ask all sorts of questions. And then we just make sure that, by the time you walk away, you have done your first pull request. We also have some sessions on how to create some samples, how to write for the web, and how to set up your SPFX developer workstation, and many more. All you need to do here is to go to aka.ms/sharing-is-caring, and you can see the schedule. The schedule has not been updated yet, but we will be scheduling some sessions very soon. And by the way, we are looking for volunteers. If you'd like to help us give those sessions, and if you're passionate about sharing with people, please let us know. And we can't wait to have you help us. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Hugo. And for those that have reached out to say they would like to volunteer, be on the lookout for an invite. We got a couple holidays and all the events going on this week. So next week, we're going to be setting up a call to chat with y'all. So thank you all for that willingness to volunteer. We also have some events that are coming up. So we've got our EduCon events coming up in June for DC, another one in Seattle, and another one in Chicago. So if you'd like to just kind of span the United States, this is a great opportunity. And you've got a discount. Community, save 25% off any pass type. We've got the EPPC coming up in Dublin in June. Definitely is going to be exciting. So join the European Power Platform Conference in Dublin if it is of interest to you. I will be there. April Dunham will be there. I know other members of the community will be there. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody. There's also some additional events that are coming up in May. So definitely, if you want to learn more about these, you can check these out. You can always go to communitydays.org to see some of these events. You can also list your events there. This is an initiative by Microsoft to try to funnel everything down into a one-stop shop, if you will, and make sure that you are able to just kind of go one place and find everything that is available. And we've also got a Teams Global Hack coming up in June. So you can join this. You go to aka.ms/hack-together-teams or scan that QR code, and there's an opportunity to win some prizes. So definitely look forward to this. There's always great collaborative, unique things that come out of this, solutions and results. Definitely welcome everybody. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Well, it is picture time. So crack those cameras open. Todd's already done that. Let me start getting that ready. Camtasia, good to go. And then let's flip over to together mode. All right, let's go into, it's a conference week, right? So let's go into our conference room. There we go. Wow, look at all of you. Fantastic. Looking excellent. All right. We still got maybe a few seats left, I think. Anybody want to pop on their camera a little bit more? And all right, let me go ahead and start the recording. All right. Oh, we got a couple more coming in. All right, let's wave, everybody. I see the dancing, the shoulders. All right. Looking fantastic. Excellent. You all are so amazing. Really appreciate everything that you're doing. All right. Okay, let me pull that back out. And all right, time has come for our all-stars of the day. So DC and Hanbing, if you would like to take over on the topic of updates to the Microsoft Graph Beta API for SharePoint Pages.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my desk. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to introduce the latest update to our project Pages API. We shipped the preview version in January, and today we will be diving into what's new in the coming release, and we will be showcasing live demos to give you a first-hand look. Before we jump into the demos, let's quickly recap what the Pages API is all about. This feature provides a powerful set of capabilities for managing SharePoint pages through APIs. In the preview version, we delivered these features. Now, let's explore the enhancement we've made in the coming release. We have two major updates to highlight. The first one is the data model change. We've made some changes to the data model underlying the Pages API, which introduces a wave of enhancement. However, it's important to note that this change will break the existing beta API, but fret not all the API will break, and we minimize the change to ensure a smooth migration. And the second one is the section and web parts operation. We've added support for creating, retrieving, updating, and deleting sections and web parts within the page. With this new functionality, users can easily modify a part of the page instead of updating the whole page content, providing them with a wide range of options to personalize their content and layout. Now it's demo time. Since the code has not released yet, I will do the demo in a dev box with the Graph Explorer pointing to the test endpoint. Let's switch to the dev box. Yeah, here you can see this is the demo page I just created. And today my whole scenarios will be working on this demo page. Yeah, let's starting by retrieving a list of pages from a site. Here we get the list of pages in the site. The behavior of this API is the same as the preview version. And now let's take a closer look to this specific page. This page name is Vision and Priorities. I'm going to do a quick search here by only select the ID and name. I'm going to look down the list to find the item called Vision and Priorities. Here I have it. Append the page ID to the URL. Now, we retrieve the metadata of this page. You can see the page name, the title, and other metadata here. But in order to get the page content in the previous version, we need to add a parameter, a query, which is called expand, called canvas layout, to the endpoint. However, in the coming release, since I mentioned before, there's a model change, we need to cast the data page to our desired type. And in this case, we need to add Microsoft.graph and .site page to the URL. And here it should work. Now let's take a better look on this page, and you may notice that this page have multiple web parts, including there are two third-party web parts. The left side here is a stock web parts, and on the right side there is a calendar web part. Examine the result. We can see. I'm trying to find this web part. Maybe we just search for the stock to take a better look, or where I cannot get it, but 1 second. I'm trying to find this web part. Oops. Maybe just screw down a little bit. Yes, here. You can see here is a stock price. I'm not sure why this search doesn't work, but yeah. So this web part is refers to the stock web parts, and scrolling down a little bit, we can see here is a calendar overlay web parts. So you can see the Pages API can also handle this third-party web parts as well, just as how we handle the first party. And moving on, we will copy this page as a new one and try to make some changes to that page. I'm going to copy the whole response here and try to do a creation, a post request to the /pages endpoint. This is also something already supported in the preview version, but in the coming release, a minor change is that you need to provide OData type to this payload, Microsoft.graph.sitepage. And don't forget to change the name. Don't forget to change the name. Otherwise, it will throw an exception called name already exists, because you cannot create two types of page with the same name. Oops. Oops, sorry. Oops, sorry. What happened here? It should be sorry. It should be a dot instead of the comma. Now we have it. I just changed the name to Vision and Priority 2s, and we can switch to the page we just created. It should have the exactly same looks as the source page. Moving on, in the next steps, we'll try to remove this third-party calendar web part from the page we just created. So here is our page, and we are going to remove this web parts. To remove this web part, the first thing we're gonna do is to try to get the web part ID. As in the last demo, I'm trying to copy this page ID here to get the page content. I'm just trying to retrieve all the web parts in the page. Scrolling down, we're trying to find this one is a calendar web part. 1 second, here we have it. I believe this is a target one. Yes, you can see it. This is calendar overlay, and we just copy this web part ID. This to make sure this is the target web part we are finding. We just do a query here, and to make sure this is our target web part. Yes, obviously it should be. I'll just copy this data in case I need it after. And yeah, since we already have the ID, I'm trying to do a simple delete method on this ID, and it should remove this web part from this page. Yeah, let's refresh it, and scrolling down a little bit, we see the web part is gone. The next step we try to update the text within a text web part on our page. Let's first find out which text web part we want to update. I'd prefer the first one because you see it has a bold and the text is larger than the others. So I was trying to find this web part's instance ID again. Just like the last scenarios, I'm trying to examine all the web parts from the web parts list, and it's easy to find this time because it's the first one. Let's double check it. Yes, you can see it's our values perspective. It's refers to this one. And now let's update the text. I already prepared a sample string, so I'll just copy it. 1 second, because this time we are doing an update, so the method should be a patch. Okay, refreshing the page, we can see the changes happening. So this ability to make the targets change to a specific web part to give users a completely control over the page content. And the next, we'll try to scrolling down to see the stock web part here. You can see currently it's pointing to MSFT Microsoft, and we may want to update the stock web part to display information about AAPL. Examine the web parts list again. trying to find the stock one. I believe it's not too far. Okay, so here we have the stock one. I just try to copy it to the VS Code so I can do some editing here. So you can see the stock code here as MSFT. I'm going to make a minor change to switch to APL instead. Don't forget the web part ID, because this update action happens on the web part instance. So you have to modify the URL to point it to a web part instance. And we also need to add the OData type, which refers to the model type. Microsoft. Here it should be standard web part. We have two types of web part. One is text web part, and the other is standard web part. Okay, this is a patch request, and okay, it seems to work, but let's just refresh the page to double confirm it. It takes several seconds, but you can see it switched to APL. And lastly, we will showcase the new capabilities of sections. You may find this section layout looks a little bit unbalanced since we remove the right side web parts, the calendar one, but it still keeps this 2 columns layout. So let me change it to a 1 column layout to make it looks better. Before that, I have to. This time we are working on the section. So instead of looking through the web part list, we're going to examine all section list. 1 second, horizontal sections. Just remove the payload. Yeah, here we can see this has like 4, 5, 6, sorry. Okay, this page has 8 horizontal sections, but our target is a third one because you can see it has a neutral and with a 2 column layout. I'm going to change it to 1 column layout, and I also don't like the emphasis, the background, so I'm going to change it to like a soft one. Don't forget to attach the section ID here. It should be 3. Another patch request. Okay, let's refresh the page. Again, yeah, you can see it looks much more better now because it's switched to the web part seems like a full with 1. Yeah. And finally, at the top of the page, maybe I want to insert the previously removed third-party calendar web part. I'm thinking which section should I insert it here? I'm considering to insert it here. It's like the first horizontal sections, but the third column. So I'm trying to locate this column. First, let's locate this column, and yeah, this column already have 2 parts, the divider, and here is a text. Remember, I just pasted the payload here. Yes, this is the deleted calendar web part. Yeah. Since I'm going to create it here, still, I'm trying to add the OData type here. Microsoft.graph.standard web part. Oops. This time we're creating a new instance, so it should be a post method. Refresh the page. Yeah, this column is a little bit narrow, so it's overlay, but yeah, it should work. So let's offer the live demos. Let's quickly recap what we've covered. We explored like retrieving pages list, examining specific page with web parts, creating, updating, and removing web part, as well as the sections on page. And let's move back to the slide. So what scenario can I achieve with the Pages Graph API? The ideal scenarios for flow 1 would be like, you can create the base content page in the SharePoint UIs, utilizing image from your organization CDNs, Microsoft stock image, or a public CDN. This ensures your page to have the desired visual elements and the assets can be easily copied. The second step is to retrieve the JSON represent to the page you just created, and you can edit the page as needed, making any necessary modification and then publish it to different sites and tenants. As part of your page customization, you may want to incorporate specific web parts and utilize the API to obtain precise web part JSON, just like what I just do to get the third-party calendar web part JSON. And you can add this JSON to your page, which can add the web part to your page. And the second ideal scenario flows involving manipulating a list of pages based on specific properties. This can be useful when you try to delete some outdated page or the page that never published. You can have your own filter to make your criteria. Yeah, so that's all for today's updates. If you have any questions or need further information, please feel free to ask, and we value your feedback and look forward to hearing your thoughts. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Very, very cool. A lot of excitement in the chat. So I think there may have been a question or two there for you both if you want to reference that. I know DC's been doing a great job in adding some links and answering. So really, really cool stuff. A lot of excitement for people to get their hands on some of this and play around with it. Thank you both. Excellent demo. All right. Next up is multi-geo support for site discovery with Microsoft Graph. Diksha, if you'd like to take on over the screen.
Sure, David. Awesome presentation, by the way. I'm just projecting my screen. Could you just confirm once it's visible?
Yep, it is. There we go. Looks great.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Before we dive into and talk about this feature and giving a demo of it, which we are going to do a lot, by the way, I just want to take a moment to introduce myself and the team here. I work as a product manager in OneDrive and SharePoint team. With me, I have Tushar working on the engineering side, who will be helping me with the demo. Our team basically works with the developers and ISVs to help them adopt and migrate to MS Graph by building new feature and optimizing the performance. And here we are with the core of it, that we are releasing a new API in Microsoft Graph that will help you discover all the sites across a geo for a particular tenant. So with that, here's the agenda of what we will be discussing today. I will begin with giving a brief overview of Sites API as we have it now, followed by what the feedback we have received from the developer community. The next two sections would be all about talking about this new feature which we have released and a live demo of it. So without any further ado, I'll just quickly get started. For discovering any document library, list item, drive item, and even fetching metadata and permission, the first step is to know what all sites you have in your tenants. As the current support goes, you can list all the sites in a particular default geo of a tenant. You can also fetch the site collections using the current endpoint we have. That will only help you to get the host names for a multi-geo tenant. What it doesn't support is being able to get the root sites for all those host names. As a fallback, developers need to rely on direct SharePoint API call to fetch those root sites. Now, it's not something new that we got to know, right? You have been telling us since various forums that how confusing it is, how big of this gap in the overall user experience, and can Microsoft do anything about it? That's why we heard that feedback, and here we are announcing our new API, which is get sites / get all sites, to be able to discover and fetch root sites across the geographies in a tenant with just one single API call. Now it would be a lot of work, right, to adopt to this API. This is a basic question that pops up. The answer is no. We made sure that the experience remains as similar to as the Sites API you are currently using. So basically similar experience with an expanded scope of it and a single call experience. The OData query parameters remains the same. We still support the sites resource type with the properties and parameters remaining exactly the same. You can try out this new API and let us know your feedback by visiting aka.ms/graph-get-all-sites. I know you are excited about the demo, so I won't take much of your time and I'll just hand it over to Tushar for demo.
Thank you, Diksha. So let's start with the live demo. So I already have one tenant, and in this particular tenant, I've enabled the multi-geo feature. As you can see that there are 2 tenants, Canada, APAC, and 1 EMEA. This one, it hasn't been provisioned yet. It failed due to some reasons, so that's why it's grayed out. Now, moving back. First question is that, how do I fetch all the geo instances of my tenant? The answer is this particular API call. It's already publicly available. And once you fire it, you'll see that it will list you down all the geo information. Canada, APAC. What you won't see is the EMEA geo, which, like I said, it's not provisioned due to some reasons, and you shouldn't expect any failed provisioned geos in this particular API call. The next step, as it comes out, what are the sites in this particular geos, right? Now moving to the get sites API. If I fire this particular call, you'll see that what today it supports is all these host names are same. For all the sites that are listed, the host name will be the same, and that host name will be for your Canada geo. The problem is that how do I fetch the sites from the APAC geo? And as you can see, there's no OData next link present as well. The solution is what we worked on, and it's the new feature, get all sites API. If you fire this particular query, you'll see that it first lists you down all the sites from the APAC geo. As you can see, the host name becomes different here, right? And it even provides you with the next link. What this next link will help you with is, it will help you enumerate the sites from your next geo. There it is. And as you can see, this response is exactly the same as you got using your get sites API. And okay, one more thing to point out, that there's no OData next link. That means that you have traversed all the sites across all geographies in your tenant, and that's it. You're done with the enumeration. Two things to highlight. We have maintained the site resource exactly the same as it's used today. So therefore, you don't need to make any changes to that. Secondly, since this feature we are talking about using with a multi-geo tenant, but you don't need to worry. You can use this particular get all sites API even with your regular tenant, and it will work seamlessly as it does today, as the get sites API works today. So since this is a publicly available API, let me also share public docs quickly. There you go. So as you can see, we have listed down the permissions that are needed to call this API. We today support only application level permissions. And this is the same set of permissions that you call your get sites API today with. And we have also included a sample request and response. In addition to that, if you want to discover what are the best practices for discovering sites, files, and detecting changes at scale, we've also attached a reference link over here. That being said, that's the end of the demo, and handing it over back to you, Diksha. Thank you.
Thanks for that amazing presentation, Tushar. I am pretty much as excited as everyone here. And moving on to the end of the slide, and I promise this is the last slide I have. Before that, I just want to list out what scenarios you can use it and how it differs in terms of what you earlier had and now you are having. So let's say you are an app developer and you are creating a page where you need to have a site picker. For any reason, maybe you just want to select sites, or maybe you want to select a site and assign some policies. In the current scenario, using the APIs you have, the site picker will just give you sites in a default geo. That creates an illusion that, oh, my tenant just has this much site, but that is not the complete picture. With many companies going global and becoming multi-geo, I think it becomes the need of the hour for us to support the sites access across the geo. And drawing the parallel with that scenario, with the new API, you get all the sites in a tenant, no caveats there. So the call to action to all of you is go ahead, try the APIs out, and do let us know your feedback. Microsoft loves feedback. We love feedback. There are Microsoft Tech community, GitHub community, and there is a feedback portal, which we keep on hearing and updating. So please let us know your feedback. Looking forward to that. With that, we come to the end of the demo. And if there is any question, we'll let us know.
Awesome stuff. Super excitement again in the chat. People are excited, asking questions. So definitely take a look at that chat. You even see the claps there by the avatars. So exciting stuff. Thank you both for that excellent demo. We got just stuff just dropping today. Excellent. Very exciting. All right. Let's get into our last demo. Sheena is going to cover how you can reach millions of mobile users by extending your Teams app to Microsoft 365 on Android and iOS. Sheena, you want to take it away?
Hello, everyone. it's great to be here. I've been here last time also, and last time we were doing a Microsoft 365 app, the extension of the Teams app on Microsoft 365 app for our Android app in the preview. So that was the last time I came here. Today, I would be focusing on not just on the Android app, I would be also focusing on the iOS app. So it's already there now in test flight. And before I even get started, I know that a lot of you guys do not know much about Microsoft 365 apps. So quickly, I would love to tell you more about it. So this is the app. We've rebranded it earlier. It was called as the Office app. It is basically the mobile version of Microsoft365.com, which was also earlier called Office.com. What all can you do in Microsoft 365 app? So everything in your Microsoft 365 account, from Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, scans, everything that you can think of would be there or is already there in Microsoft 365 app today. And going forward, we would be also integrating a lot of AI powered tools, productivity. It's an all-in-all productivity app. So we aim to include everything that's there in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem in this app. And if I look at how we've designed the app, it's completely secure user data. Everything is managed as per the policies in Microsoft. So coming to the next version where this app is, I would love for you to just download this app and start using it. So we already have 100 million plus monthly active users across Android and iOS. And we've been getting very good feedback on the Play stores as well. So would love for you to try out. Now coming to this feature, so you all use the Teams apps that are there. Now with this feature, you would be able to start using these apps on Microsoft 365 mobile app as well. These apps already work on Microsoft365.com, but now they've been enabled for the mobile version as well. So it's been released worldwide on the Android app. However, for the iOS app, we are in the beta platform. And in fact, in the chat, I'm quickly sharing all the relevant links, how you can build the apps, how you can basically, we've also done some blogs around it, and you can read more how to join the test flight ring for the iOS app. And it will also help you pick up a sample app, which is Northwind Order. You can pick that app and you can deploy it. You can start working with your developer portal and sideload this app, and you can start experiencing before you start building your own app. So as I move to the next, there is one important thing that I missed, which is the Android app also allows you to remotely debug from the Chrome browser. So when you go through this content and even the earlier video that we did, you would get all the insights into how to start building and how to start extending. So I would love for you to just try out. And in fact, I've also shared a link in the bottom, if you could share your feedback with us. And if anybody wants to get on a one-on-one 30-minute call so that we can also help you build these apps, so you can explore the Microsoft 365 platform, and we can tell you, how to best use this platform to get more users. And then there is a very quick demo of how this works. So here I have the Teams desktop app. So you go to the apps tab, and here I'm adding an app, which is Adobe Acrobat Sign. This app already works on our iOS and Android app. It's already been upgraded. And so you can see now I'm launching the Microsoft 365 iOS app. And here I'm launching the Adobe Acrobat Sign for Microsoft. I put, you can move across and you can just sign in to this app and you can start using it on mobile. Another app, the sample app that we talked about, which was Northwind Order, we've specially built it for our developers to try and test out this experience. So you can see you can move across tabs. There are a lot of features that are supported. So if anything at any point you get any roadblock, do let us know. I've shared a feedback form. We would love to catch up with you and would love to know more about your app. Yeah, I think it was a quick demo. And yeah, I'm towards the end of it. Would love for you to share the feedback there.
Yeah, I think there's some things in the chat we'll have you take a look at just because there's so many on the call. We can't really have the audio open for everybody. But definitely exciting. And thank you for engaging and asking for feedback. We know that everyone in the community appreciates being able to be heard. So that is awesome. And we see the applauses by Carlos in his avatar. So thank you. Awesome. Well, let's wrap this puppy up. All right. Carlos, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen since you're the only avatar? I see. All right. There we go. Love it. Okay. Thank you all to our amazing presenters, DC, Hanbing, Diksha, and Sheena, and everyone that was involved today. You all are amazing. We really appreciate the work that you're doing to share this with our wonderful community. The next call is a week from today. It's going to include Mark on the topic of Introduction to Repository as a Service. Jethro is going to continue in the introducing Microsoft Viva Connections for education. And then Vesa is going to be bringing back latest on using SPFX and building extensibility for SharePoint. This is that Tuesday call that you're currently on, so be sure to get that added to your calendar for sure. We also would like to get some feedback from you all about the community calls. So let us know what's working for you. We want to be able to use this as letting our management know that you're enjoying it. Let us know what you'd like to see more of. Even if you just want to tell us that you're liking things and what you like, that helps too, because it lets our management know that we're doing what it is that you want and we're providing you support and value to the community with the calls. So we want to make sure that we can expand the scope of these things to do more and provide more value for you. So we really appreciate you giving us some feedback and keep providing that. We really appreciate it. The recording will be available in 24 hours on the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Community YouTube channel. You will see in the Teams, it will tell you that the recording is done and offer you to download it. It is magic beans. It will not grow to a beanstalk, so don't try. It'll just end in sadness. But I promise, if you go to aka.ms/community/videos and you subscribe to all of the YouTube channels that are available through Microsoft, you'll be alerted as soon as the video is published and dropped. Now, you can also follow us on Twitter for updates at M365PNP. We will let you know when the video is available there as well. And of course, we've got the LinkedIn at aka.ms/community/li. The next Microsoft 365 and Power Platform MS speakers call 1 week from today, May 30th. I'm sure Vesa will be back at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and you can access all of the community calls at aka.ms/community/calls. Thank you, everybody, for being amazing in our community and providing all that you do. Have a wonderful rest of your week and enjoy Build if you're tuning in. Thanks.